What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I know it's been a little bit longer than we anticipated. I know we didn't get any episodes out to y'all last week. We just had a lot going on, and me and Dean just unfortunately weren't able to get together to make it happen. But don't worry, we're back. All right. We just got a lot of stuff going on, and we're gonna try to ease back in. We're only going to give y'all one episode this week. We're going to give y'all our predictions. And then next week, we should be back on track, giving y'all two episodes with a recap and a prediction episode. So no worries. We just got a lot of stuff going on, and we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program in no time. But
Yes.
welcome back to the Smooth Plays podcast. I'm Austin Plays, aka Austin, joined once again by my guy Dean, aka Mr. Smooth.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, happy to be back with you, Austin.
All right. So jumping into these predictions, week 10. Okay. Thursday night matchup, divisional game in your division, and this honestly, I think this might be the best game out of the whole weekend. Because we got the Cincinnati Bengals going into Baltimore.
Yeah, I disagree with the whole weekend, but this is one of them. This is a good one. The Bengals should have beat the Ravens last time they played. I don't know if you watched the game.
Yeah, I did.
It was the kick at the end that went wide, and yeah, the Bengals end up losing, but no T. Higgins tonight for Cincinnati. And honestly, it's tough to beat your divisional opponent twice, man. Like that's I don't know, it's a tough thing to do, especially whenever it's two, pretty good teams.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati's gonna win tonight. I really do.
Yeah, I really like Cincinnati. I think the strength of the Cincinnati team plays to the Baltimore's weaknesses, at least on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Burrow is going to air it out, and the Baltimore Ravens are the worst team in the NFL against the pass by far. Not necessarily even because, they don't defend the pass, but just their run defense and teams just is good, and so their teams are just forced to throw the ball a lot against Baltimore. And then vice versa, though, if you look at Baltimore, I mean, this team is a ground and pound team. I expect Lamar to run a lot in this game. Trey Hendrickson leads the NFL in sacks coming into this one, and I expect him to be getting after it, force Lamar to get out the pocket and potentially make a lot happen with his legs versus through the air in this one. Um, but all that said, I mean, this Baltimore Ravens team, they're hard to read because they look real dominant at times, but then they lose. They've lost two games, I'd say, this year that they definitely should not have lost.
Yeah.
So they're hard to read. I just think that, like, I think Joe Burrow, even with T. Higgins out, I think the strength of this Bengals team plays to that, like I said, that weakness. They're just going to air it out and keep this one close. And yeah, I think they can sneak out a win, but I'm going to play it safe. And I like Baltimore. I like the Bengals. I like to cover 6.5 points. Come on, that's a big spread.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the points as well. I think Cincinnati can win, but the points is a smart play. The only thing I'm worried about is Higgins being out and
Hmm.
Henry maybe controlling that clock even
Yeah,
more than I already do.
yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry looks
Yeah.
incredible.
That dude's like LeBron of the NFL. Seriously.
All right. But we're on the same page, both like the Bengals plus 6.5 in this one, keeping it close. Moving on into our Sunday slate. Okay. We got our Munich game. In Germany, all right. We're out of the UK and London. All right. We're moving into Germany. We got a doozy in the New
It's
York
a fun
Giants and
one
the
for the
Carolina
Germans.
Panthers.
Great game to send out there to
Yeah,
spread the
what did
word.
what did Germany do to deserve this treat?
Yeah, really. But with all that being said, matchup of, not the greatest teams in the world. But my first instinct of this game is there's no way I'm back in New York minus 6.5 the way they've
Yeah.
looked. I'm going to be honest with you. I know Carolina's looked bad, but Carolina coming off a win, I think the Giants win the game
Hmm.
because, they're not the worst team in the league. They're the third worst or fourth worst, and they're going to
Yeah. I actually disagree with you. I'm not gonna lie.
win.
I think this is a great spot for the Giants to get a big win. I think they potentially win this one. Again, I think they could win this by a touchdown easily. I think that if you look at this Giants team, right, they have the best pass rush in the NFL, and it, quite
Sure.
frankly, isn't even close. And at least from a statistical standpoint, they are constantly get pressure on whoever they're playing and produce with sacks. And this is a Carolina Panthers team. I don't know. I think Bryce Young is still
Mhm.
starting, and he is a guy that, you know, for his entirety of his NFL career, he has struggled whenever he's under pressure.
That's
And
true.
I really like the Giants to win this one and cover 6.5.
Hey, Bryce Young redemption arc after last week's win.
Hey, he got to win,
Yeah.
but this is the Panthers team. Do we really think they can sneak out two in a row?
No, no, they ain't sneaking out two in a row, but they're covering.
All right. So I like the Giants minus 6.5. And are you taking the Panthers plus?
Plus 6.5.
All
Not,
right.
not the money line. They ain't winning.
Okay. Moving on. The Denver Broncos and the Chiefs, another divisional game, and the Chiefs just keep rolling, man. 8-0.
Yeah, the Chiefs keep rolling, but like they're in this weird spot where they're obviously a really, really good team, but they're not covering.
Yeah.
Like it's because it's the Chiefs. Like you expect bigger blowouts, you know. But honestly, the Chiefs offense, adding D Hop looks to fit in well so far.
Hmm.
But we know Denver's strength is their pass defense
Yep.
and divisional game, and they're at a plus 307 price on the money line. I would
Yep.
take 7.5 is a lot of points on divisional game.
Yeah. It's a 7.5 is a lot. ESPN has it up to 8 now. So, that line's moving up. But I still think, yeah, it's just way too much. This Denver team, right? You mentioned the addition of D Hop. I think D Hop gets shut down in this one. I think Surtain is going to be all over him the whole game. If anybody is going to, have a big game for the Chiefs, it's going to be Travis Kelce, at least through the air. Just because I think D Hop is going to be a non-factor, at least in terms of um, whenever he's going to be one on one with Pat Surtain. So yeah. And then you mentioned again the Chiefs' inability to cover the spread. They're not blowing anybody out.
Yeah.
And again, since week one, I've been high on this Denver team, and I'm gonna keep being high on. Like I like the Denver Broncos, especially to keep this one close in a division game. Give me Denver plus points.
I agree.
All right. Moving on, your Pittsburgh Steelers going into the red hot Washington Commanders, who, with a big addition to a huge spot where they needed help in the secondary, adding Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah, getting Lattimore is big time. But don't forget about the Steelers blockbuster trade to get Mike Williams. Mike
Hey,
Williams, Preston
no,
Smith.
don't sleep. Yeah, don't sleep on it. I love the addition of Mike Williams. That's another big body guy that can just go
Yeah.
up and get a contested jump ball. And I think he'll fit right in with Russell Wilson and George Pickens, just giving him another weapon.
Honestly, the way that Russ throws the deep ball, yeah, those contested catch guys are what, he likes. So, but with all that being said, I'm not going against the Steelers. Yeah, I just can't. And not with this is the first Steeler team, even when they went 11-0, that I've thought actually like is good. When
Yeah.
they were 11-0, they didn't look good. I knew that team wasn't very good. I'm taking them to win the game. Jaden Daniels, rookie QB against Mike Tomlin. He'll scheme something up for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at this one, right? Washington's favored by 2.5. As you were talking, not even joking, it just updated to -3, so that line is moving in the Commanders' favor. And yeah, I like this Washington Commanders team. I don't get me wrong, I like the Steelers, and I think this defense has the potential to wreak havoc on Jaden Daniels. I know he's not 100% either. I think that they can definitely compete. I do like the Steelers plus 2.5 or even +3, at least, for the sake of either team can win this game. But I'm leaning towards the Commanders winning this one.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not gonna lie, it's 100% biased, but I'm taking the Steelers.
Hey, I appreciate the honesty, my friend. All right. And then we move into Minnesota and Jacksonville.
Yeah, let's hear what you have to say about this one.
Yeah. Well, all right. So Minnesota obviously is the heavy favorite in this one. They're 6-2, one of the best teams to start the year, without a doubt. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, the complete opposite, 2-7, one of the worst teams since the start of the year. But I mean, this Jags team, despite being 2-7, I mean, if anything, they've showed progress. I mean, they have improved in certain areas, especially on the offensive end. And I do think that this is a team, honestly, that can keep it close. I think this game, is sitting at a 7-point spread. I think the Jags can keep this one within a touchdown, and honestly, wouldn't be surprised if they sneak out a win. That, quite frankly, I'm being honest. I think they could sneak out a win. But if there was one thing that I was like, I like this pick, it's going to be the under in this one. I think the under in this one is going to be the way to go. Sitting at 44.5. I think this one can be under. I think these are uh, two defenses that potentially could slow down offenses that have been relatively lackluster as of late.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Seven is a lot, especially in today's NFL. We know how that can go. They asked Doug Peterson a question about Sam Darnold and his improvement. It was today. I saw it on social media. He said, they said, what do you think? What steps has he made? And he said he got Justin Jefferson, and that's all. And so I think Darnold's going to be, ready to prove something, at least to Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
Hawkinson, his second week back.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, I was just about
I
to
don't
say
know.
something.
I think it's a popular pick that Jacksonville will keep it close because they've looked good, but don't forget about the Minnesota team that we saw the first, 4, even 5 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Minnesota in this one, and I'll take the points.
All right. So opposite ends there, but we're gonna move into San Francisco, going into Tampa Bay, and I mean, there's a story. I'm gonna hear you first before I get into my own team. So let's see what your take is on this one.
I mean, I'm sorry to tell you this, but my takes initially, right off the top of my head, Niners -6 because McCaffrey's back. Mike Evans is still out, correct?
Yeah, Mike Evans is gonna be
So
still out.
So
Godwin's
he's
out for the
and
year.
Godwin's like I love this Bucks team. They're feisty when they were healthy. I mean, you'd lose your top two weapons. Yeah, they should have won against the Chiefs if they went for two. I don't know why they didn't go for two.
Yeah.
But well, that's a conversation for another day. But I think the Niners, they're 4-4, and this is when they have to start making that push with McCaffrey back. I think they roll in Tampa.
Yeah. I mean, as much as it hurts to say, I have to agree. I mean, strictly from a non-biased standpoint, I think that this Bucks team, the injuries, Baker, despite the injuries, Baker is still playing at an incredible rate. Like he's getting the job done without his top two guys when really no other team in the NFL has been able to do it. I mean, these are games that they're keeping close that quite frankly they should be getting blown out in, and they're close. Um, but like I said, this is a Niners team I think that is going to be hitting their stride here in week 10. You mentioned McCaffrey coming back. I think that they get him going, and it's really just a big piece they've been missing this entire time. And something is going to click for this team as a whole. I think the Niners defense really puts it all together. Something about McCaffrey is just going to spark this team. And this is going to be a 49ers team that we expected to see at the beginning of the year. And they're going to cover 6 and advance to 5-4.
I'm at the territory of saying I might even move this line up to -13.5 to
Really? You think
downwind
it's going to be
tonight.
that bad? Wow. I wouldn't go that far. But
McCaffrey, McCaffrey's back. The Niners are back.
all right. Moving on. All right. We got the Atlanta Falcons going into the New Orleans Saints, who just fired Dennis Allen. It is about time.
Yeah, it's about time. And I'm sure Saints fans are just so happy because it's been bad. Let's be honest.
Oh, well, let me just say my dad is a Saints fan, and I got a text from him as soon as the news broke, all caps. Finally.
Oh, well, I'm sure all Saints fans are like that. Unfortunately, I don't think they get the interim head coach boost this week because they don't have any receivers that are healthy.
No.
And they just traded Lattimore, so they're obviously sellers. Like the
Yeah.
season's a wash. We know this. I think Atlanta wins this game, and 3.5 is honestly, I think they cover.
Insane number. I mean,
I'm
because
surprised it's that
yeah,
low.
that I think for me, my lock of the week is gonna be Atlanta to cover that. I'm gonna say that to cover the spread is gonna be my lock of the week is gonna be Atlanta to win for sure.
Yeah,
But I definitely think that they could cover the spread.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
like I said, but in terms of like a lock of the week, them winning this game is a lock. I mean, New Orleans has dropped 7 straight. This is a team this is the team. They started 2-0, and we were like,
Yeah,
this team looks like they're unstoppable. They might be a problem. And then they go and rattle off seven
I
straight
forgot that
losses
Dennis
and have
Allen was
looked
so
like
good.
they've looked like the worst team in the NFL. Like
Yeah,
it's bad. There's a lot of drama going on in the locker room as well. Derek Carr is catching a lot of heat from guys that aren't even on the team anymore.
yeah.
It's if you don't know what we're talking about Michael Thomas. He's coming at Derek Carr's neck. This Atlanta team is gonna steamroll New
They
Orleans.
might not win another game.
You really hot take is already here
I I
week
haven't
10.
seen their schedule, but they might not win another game. Well, they play the Panthers again, so they gotta
Yeah,
win that.
hey, so at least they have a shot.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Atlanta's winning this one. Moving on. Okay. Bills and Colts. Again, this is another game where I'm looking at the matchup and I'm like, how is this only a 3.5 point spread?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from because the Bills have looked, way better than the Colts have. But I actually disagree with you. I'm on the Colts in this game because I think it's just a trap game for Buffalo. Like Buffalo's been winning these close ones, pulling them out, and this is one where it gets close and just like the Dolphins game last week, and the Colts capitalize at the end and win the game late.
I mean, I hear you. And we've said that this Colts team with Joe Flacco is the better Colts team. Keep it, and then this is also a Colts team that has Jonathan Taylor back. This I think this is the second week now that he's back full participation. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but there's just nothing that tells me that I should take the Colts here, even with points. I think that the Bills are just the better team, and like I said, they were missing out on Amari Cooper last week. I haven't looked at. I think Amari Cooper should be back, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, I got to take the Bills, man. The Bills got to win this one.
You never know in the NFL, but I see where you're coming from.
All right, moving on, New England and the Bears. Another one big. There's some big, point spread. There's some big spreads this week. Bears are 6 point favorites according to ESPN against the New England Patriots. Let's hear it because I want to hear your thoughts on your guy Drake May.
Well, first of all, I don't see why Atlanta would be 3.5 and Chicago would be 6, like you just said. That's just strange. I know that's, a home team, but Drake May's looked, I think he's looked pretty good. I mean, you have to be a little satisfied if you're a New England fan. Like, he hasn't gone out there and, played terrible, that's not like the one thing that can't happen. So he showed promise. He's ran the ball well. He's
Yeah,
been using his legs a lot.
yeah. I will say I think the legs of Drake May are easily the most
Yeah,
surprising thing that I've seen because he is getting the job done with his legs.
he is. He's sneaky fast. He's not even sneaky fast. He's just fast. I
You're
mean,
just
he's
saying. I hate that. You can't say sneaky fast just because he's white.
well, I mean, that's how it is. But
No,
with all
you're
that
not
being
wrong. You
said,
ask
though,
any analyst ever, any
yeah,
white guy that is athletic, he's sneaky fast.
yeah, he's gritty. But with all that being said, even though it's a lot, I'm just going to take Chicago to win. I think the Chicago defense is very good. Their offense hasn't been, but when they've shown when they play bad teams, they can win games.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Chicago Bears to win is definitely the play here. Like I said, New England's defense is like they're a defensive minded team. So I don't see enough production from this Bears team, at least offensively, to be able to feel confident taking the spread. And like you said, their defense is very good. Um, I like the Bears to win this one, and I think a guy to look for to make a big impact in this one is going to be Montez Sweat. I think Montez Sweat could rattle off, two, maybe 3 sacks in this one.
Mm. Wow.
So keep your eye out for that one.
Okay. I like that tag.
All right. And we're going to move on. finally hitting our late window. Tennessee Titans going to LA, big road trip, going to LA to play the Chargers.
Yeah, only if this game was in Tennessee, so we didn't have to watch it at 4. Because I don't want to watch the Titans. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone wants to. Even Titans fans, I don't think want to watch them. Um, with that being said, the Chargers' strength is running the ball, but Herbert, I don't know if you've noticed recently, but Herbert has been putting up numbers.
yeah, he's been
And
airing it out.
if they can get a deep receiving core, because they don't have a great tight end or the best receivers, and he's
Mhm.
putting up numbers. I think the Chargers roll in this game. I think the Titans are the worst team in the league. I've said that.
I like the Chargers in this one. The Chargers should win this game, but yeah, you mentioned their work through the air. I mean, has really been a difference maker. This is a Tennessee Titans defense though that this is like despite everything, if there's one thing that the Titans have done is, they don't give up a lot of yards, at least through the air.
Sure.
So, you got to realize that that's a strength, but I mean, this Chargers team is just leaps and like the Chargers aren't even like a top tier team, but I still think look at them. I'm like, this team is leaps and bounds better than the Tennessee Titans. They need to win. They like there's no reason they should lose this game. Um, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't like what you said about you're dogging my guy Quentin Johnston.
Hey,
He's having a pretty good bounce back year. All right, no I wouldn't consider this a sophomore slump year for him.
no, I agree. I was a Quentin Johnston fan. I'm just saying that no big names is what I should have said.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So yeah, we both like the Chargers in that one, and then we're gonna move on. We like the Eagles or the Cowboys. Let me tell you, if there was time, even I don't care. That first off, Dak's out. I
Yeah.
mean, he's gonna miss a pretty hefty amount of time. The Cowboys season is over. They like, and there's one thing that I gotta bring up that makes literally zero sense to me. Dallas Cowboys are 3-5. Dak just went out. He's gonna miss a significant amount of time, right? Why are we buying? Why are we going out and getting a receiver and trading a fourth round pick? Well, I don't know if it was a fourth round pick, but they're trading assets to get a guy that essentially could be the same as like, you go into the draft and draft a receiver or whatever in like the fifth or the fourth round and is the same kind of model as the guy you get out for. And Jonathan Mingo's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either. That's just Jerry panicking, honestly. It's the
Just
Cowboys
trying,
panic.
just trying to make a move and
Yeah,
make
trying to make a move to settle a disgruntled fan base that, the Cowboys have underperformed. And the problems that we talked about early in the year with no run game have shown that it's been, big on this team. And that's a panic move. And it's also a dumb move, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Dallas, you mentioned the run game. Yeah. Zeke got benched last week, just straight up, didn't even get on the plane. So I mean, I don't know, we might not see him the rest of the year. I don't know. But yeah, this Dallas Cowboys team, you're missing Dak and you already have no run game. And then vice versa, you're playing the Eagles, who Saquon,
That's pretty much.
looking like my lock for offensive player of
Yeah.
the year, just is on a tear. You know, this might be the biggest game of Saquon's career, in my opinion. I like if it isn't, it's because the Cowboys are up 30 in the fourth and they just don't play him.
Yeah, honestly, I remember because I was always a Saquon guy, especially in fantasy. I had him anytime they play the Cowboys, the Giants would lose, right? Because the Giants, aren't very good. This is a spot where he's going to be on the other side of that. Eagles roll, Saquon has a big game.
Yeah. All right. So Eagles are covering 7. I think they cover 10.
We've seen the Cowboys at home. This might be the 13.5 one instead
Yeah,
of
this one I can get behind 13.5 on this one a lot more than I can
yeah, I agree with
in
that.
Tampa. So we're gonna move on. We got the Jets and the Cardinals. All right. Again, I mean the Jets are favored in this one on the road. Am I missing something?
No, you're not. I don't know why they are. It's because they're all these big names that just you throw them
That
out there.
should produce, but they just don't.
Yeah, or at least they haven't been. But last week, take down the injured Houston Texans at home, but regardless, it's a win. I actually don't like taking Arizona at home. And I also am just furious with this Arizona, not furious, but just confused why Marvin Harrison can't get a consistent 10 targets a week and produce.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
I don't know. There was something, I don't know if you remember. I saw something I think it was like week 2 or week 3 where Kyler Murray was being interviewed and they asked him about his target share, why he Marvin's not getting as many looks. And he said something along the line like it's not my job to get to throw it to him or something. Like in my mind, I'm like, what are you talking about? You're a NFL quarterback. Your entire job is throwing the ball to your wide receivers, and especially ones that are at the caliber of Marvin Harrison. But besides the point, I mean, this is a game where if I'm looking at the Jets, right? Marvin Harrison is really their only, in my opinion, their only legitimate wide receiver threat, and he's going to be shadowed by Sauce for a majority of this game. They're gonna have Arizona if they're gonna win this one at home. They're gonna have to lean on Trey McBride, who the Jets have struggled in the past at giving up yards to tight ends. So I think if Arizona is gonna move the ball, look for Trey McBride to have a big game, and then I mean they're gonna have to get the ground game going, but. I mean, this is a Jets team that's 3-6, like you mentioned. I like I want to take the Jets, but I just don't know if I feel safe and comfortable putting my faith in the Jets right now.
Uh, I don't disagree. No, honestly, I think this week for the Jets, though, like they are 3-6, but their season ain't over yet. They can't go 3-7.
Yeah.
They just can't. That
This is
can't
your
happen.
Super Bowl pick, Dean. Get
Hey,
behind your guys.
the turnaround starts this week in Arizona.
All right. Well, I gotta disagree because I mean, look, this Arizona team, they're 5-4, and they've beaten some good teams this year. Like they've competed. And again, this Jets team, this is just a Jets team that just doesn't have it all together right now. And I mean, this is a good spot, I think, for the Cardinals to sneak out a win here, especially being at home. So yeah, give me the Cardinals, man.
Yeah, I'm taking New York. Let's go, Jets. JTS.
All right. Moving on, that wraps up our early and late windows. Moving into our Sunday night game, the Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans. And let me hear what you have to say before I get into my spiel.
I mean, this can be a great game. It's Houston's undefeated at home, Detroit's undefeated on the road. Um, I just don't think Houston with Diggs and Collins still out?
Yeah,
Collins is out.
Collins, I think Collins is out for the year.
I think the Texans had three guys who had a catch last week, and it was Robert Woods, Schultz, and Dell. And then everyone else just had targets and no catch. Like CJ's struggling, their offensive line isn't good. I think the Lions cover 3.5, and
Yeah.
yeah, they cover.
Yeah, I think that this game, if you look at it from a Sunday night perspective, if you called this one, 3 weeks ago when Houston was healthy, had Diggs and Collins, I mean this would have been a doozy. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it sucks that we're getting this one now when Houston is depleted at the receiving core and all that explosive firepower they got is kind of diminished. Um, you mentioned Tank Dell and Schultz, Woods vet guy, but I mean, you can
he's
only
fine.
expect so much. The guy you didn't mention though, Joe Mixon. I mean, Joe Mixon has been incredible,
Yeah, he has
but
been.
he's feeding into a Detroit team that, I mean, they
Absolutely.
pride themselves on, winning games in the trenches. So I think that this is just not a good spot for Houston at all. I think that Detroit takes this one, and I think they cover the 3.5 point spread.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, maybe a guy like John Mechie or Xavier Hutchinson can step up. You never know.
Maybe.
But I do think Detroit covers.
And then moving into our Monday night matchup, Miami Dolphins going a long way into LA to play the Rams. And this Rams team has really picked it up as of late. I mean, they're getting guys back at the right time.
Yeah, this one sucks because I like the Dolphins with Tua. Like I think and they've lost two tough games the last 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
think I combined 4 points or 0-2. So they've just had tough pills to swallow. But like you said, the Rams are getting healthy and they might be getting hot at the right time because they've looked pretty good and they've won games. I just don't see Miami going across the whole country. I don't know. I gotta take the Rams, I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I like where your head's at. I think the Rams are the safe pick to go here. Just like you said, I mean, they're getting healthy, they're getting hot at the right time. And Miami, you're sitting at 2-6. You're just, I mean, you're battling a lot of stuff right now if you're Miami. I mean, I know like there's stuff that's starting to come around about Mike McDaniel, how safe is his job at this point in time. I mean, it's a weird spot. It's a weird time to be a Miami Dolphins fan for
Yeah.
sure. Um, but I could see this one being a shootout.
Oh, yeah.
Very very high scoring. I think this one, in primetime games typically aren't, but I could see this one being a very high scoring affair. And I just think the Rams just are going to be able to get over the hump, honestly. So I like the Rams in this one, but expect a high scoring affair.
Hey, maybe a Jalen Ramsey INT in there.
Maybe a Jalen Ramsey INT, maybe a Tyreek Hill touchdown.
I need I need Waddle to tighten up for my fantasy.
Dude, yeah, I mean, I think, dude, I don't even remember the last time I saw Tyreek get a touchdown. I mean, he's due.
I think it was week 1.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be due. I think Tyreek touchdown might be my sneaky anytime touchdown parlay.
Did you see Jalen Waddle last week or no?
No, I didn't.
He had like a reception for minus 25 yards at the end of the game. And
Oh, and then I did. I saw it on a bad beats, but yeah, Dolphins are in a tricky spot, man. Um,
yeah, they are. They are.
but that wraps up all of our matchups there, week 10. I gave you all my lock of the week in the Atlanta Falcons. Dean, do you have a lock of the week for us?
I'm looking. Give me 1 second. Talk about your dog. I'm
Yeah.
my
Well, I'm looking. I mean, I'm looking through my dogs, and I got a few, but I don't know. I mean, I mentioned the Jags being sneaky. I think the Jags sneakily could keep it close and potentially sneak one out. Um, but quite frankly, I feel better about the Cardinals. Like I said, the Cardinals have just they're not the only. This isn't the first time I picked them as my dog. And I do like the Cardinals team. I picked Kyler at the beginning of the year to be my sleeper MVP. I don't think that's in the running anymore. But I still like this Cardinals team. Like I said, they've come up with some big wins. Give me the Cardinals at home. Home dog. Come on.
I'm going. My lock is going to be San Francisco and Tampa because
Okay.
I think they're going to roll. And my dog, I'm doing this for my dog. I'm taking Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we're throwing in Mike Williams TD in there while
Mike
Lattimore's
Williams, TD.
first
All right.
first week. Hey, the odds are going to be in our favor. Let's go.
All right. Hey, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Um, man, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be
It
back.
is. It feels great, man.
So yeah, like we said earlier or we said in the beginning, right? Sorry we didn't get anything out to y'all last week. We just said I'm moving. I'm moving, so I'm in the middle of a lot of stuff, and it just couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
So don't worry, we're back. All
Yeah.
right, we're back, baby. We are so back. So yeah, we'll be back next week as usual. All right. You got any final comments or thoughts for us, Dean?
Uh, I got nothing, man. Go Steelers. Should be a fun one tonight between Cincinnati and Baltimore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go. Let's see it, man. Hopefully we get a shootout and a doozy here on Thursday night. But Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. All right. And we'll make sure to see y'all in the next one.